detective. Thrill me.
Welcome back to the Thrill Me podcast. Today it's Bruce Lee. Our first Bruce Lee film. I believe I might have was hoping we might watch Fists of Fury, which I seem to have on Amazon Prime for free.
Oh, look, I'm open.
I had to pay $5 for this.
I'm open to it.
I paid $4.
Yes.
I want some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar action, personally.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I paid $4.
Is that Fists of Fury or is that
Game of Death.
Game of Death.
I paid
That's
$4
the one
and
I
then
want.
found the free copy on Daily Motion or whatever. So I was rather upset.
Is Game of Death the one with Chuck Norris too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we should have got.
Yeah.
But
There's time.
we're going to do Enter the Dragon, which I believe was Bruce Lee's last movie. Is that correct? Oh no, he had a couple. Bruce Lee, Chick Norris, and all that.
Yeah. Bruce Liang and those sort of guys. If you count the scenes from Bruce Lee's funeral that were used in Game of Death too, possibly. There's technicality
I
there.
shouldn't laugh. That's really
It's ridiculous.
uncalled for.
Ridiculous.
They used the bloke's bloody, because it was an open casket, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But this is his last actual film, his full film. Last full film, I believe.
I believe so.
So Enter the Dragon. Now, before we get to that, we can do a little bit up or down.
Down.
The first one would be the Han Solo film, which I believe comes out next week.
That's out.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah.
I
On the
watched the
ball.
last trailer.
You're obviously up.
Andy's going to be there opening night. In the past.
I thought it wasn't out yet.
You'd be sitting there going, "Geez, not many people here." Opening night.
No, the new bloke at work is a bit of a Star Wars fan, you can
What
put it
did
that
he
way. He liked it, but this is the sort of bloke that goes and buys like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of like costumes and builds them and then dresses up in them and wears them around his house. Yeah, so he liked it.
Well, I had
You look at
I
the
hear it's
trailer.
okay.
Apparently, it's a really good looking movie. Like one of the other movie pods that I listened to, I think Mad About Movies podcast, I think it was. They said it's like one of the most beautiful movies they've ever seen. Like it looks really good. I've just never been much of a Star Wars fan. I can't really get into it. If you're a Star Wars person, it's probably awesome. But
Well, considering the cluster that it was, it seems to have got reasonable reviews
Yeah.
under those circumstances. I'm kind of up enough to give it a look. I think I'll have a look at it. Because I hear Donald Glover is excellent as Lando.
Yep.
Like he's spot on as Lando. Less raves over the guy playing Han. Like a lot of people have said, it's just chalk and cheese between him and Harrison Ford.
they're never going to win with that, though.
Yeah, exactly. That was a very, very hard act to follow, I think. But I'm up.
Yeah.
I liked the last two. Like, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I liked Rogue One, and I liked what was the
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. They're both decent, and like I don't care enough about the backstory to really get into it. But they're entertaining movies. This will probably be the same.
Yeah.
So,
Everyone
I'll
happy with that?
I'll
Yeah,
watch it
I'm up.
when I can get it for cheap. I'm not
I've
going to cinema.
got a bit of Star Wars fatigue, but I'm just a grump these days. It's just that.
I don't. No, I'll be there. But funny you said that you had a bloke at work that was very up on it. I had a friend who had a workmate in a similar situation who was so upset he had to go home at lunchtime on Friday. What? He saw it on Thursday night. He came in. It just wasn't himself.
Just
on
beside
Friday.
himself.
Why didn't he just take Friday off? In full.
He tried to soldier on. We got to lunchtime and said, I can't do it.
I can't do it. Han Solo was rubbish. I need to go home. I need a 4-day weekend.
Oh, shit. Mate, if I was that way inclined about movies, I'd have taken bloody weeks off at a time.
I don't have no personal.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely up. I've been enjoying the later ones. I was a big fan of Last Jedi.
Yeah, that was good fun.
I'm a definite. I think it'll be fun.
Okay, from the sublime, or the semi-sublime, to the ridiculous.
So this is further up
Skyscraper.
or further down because we've already watched one trailer for this.
Released another trailer. I think it's its final trailer.
Yeah, I'd say so. It releases in July 13.
The first trailer I was down on it. This one I have plummeted.
Mate, I'm in the elevator that Nev Campbell's on when he cuts the cord.
It looks trash. It looks terrible.
Yep.
Like, there's action movies that are enjoyably silly, but everything about this looks ridiculous, and it looks like it's being played straight.
Yeah.
It
That's
hurts
the
to
problem.
say. It
Yeah.
hurts to say, but that the backstory that it's added in this trailer, as we all just watched it together, the amount of oh no's and groans and stuff that were going on, the way that he seems to have a backstory that involves removing his leg purely for a couple of set pieces involving that leg is just shameful.
I need to keep the elevator door open. Let me pull my leg off and pry it. Like that stuff's just shit.
Man.
I mean, I love the man. I love him.
I'll watch him in anything, but
Yeah.
fuck, mate, he's scraping.
No,
the
I'll
barrel
watch him
this
in
one.
this too, but I'll.
But it's missing the bit like from in Rampage. It's clearly not taking itself serious. You know,
Yeah.
the whole it's a big arm, don't fight.
Same
That
with
sort of.
Jumanji. Like
Jumanji was
it's
brilliant.
obviously being played for laughs and or tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
This I don't know whether this is going to be tongue in cheek. Just the trailers have been dressed up to look it, but it looks straight down the line, and you cannot have a bloke with one leg running across the top of a
crane after
frame
climbing
and
it.
leaping what would be
Best part
10
of third,
metres?
it might be more than that. It was only 20 metres.
Yeah.
and making it to an open window
I know he doesn't skip leg day, but he's not making
without going, this is bullshit.
It looks like he's Die Hard with a bigger building, more explosives, one less leg.
So this is Die Hard. Right? Is what you're telling me?
It's just really, I don't know. It
You
just
won't have to worry about cutting his foot.
One less leg.
it stinks to high heaven.
They've lost the whole element of he's the unassuming hero, but he's a
Yeah.
mutant. He's huge.
He's an FBI agent, ex-special forces, so
Yeah.
you don't get the everyman. Like
Yeah.
that's what you're referring to.
yeah,
obviously.
pretty much. Yeah.
This bloke's
Which is why playing a video game character in Jumanji works, because that's what the guy is.
Yeah.
Like he's a freak of nature.
He's a caricature, yeah.
And every cliche under the sun was in that trailer. Every single one. Now, I don't know why he sees this as a potentially good decision.
Because they paid him money.
On a small budget, though.
Lots
You
of-
said
lots
60
of
million,
money.
which
I'd
is
say
a
that's
very
it.
small
Dwayne
budget
had to
in
have got
comparison.
20. He had
Yeah,
to-
definitely. You don't
No,
get him
you know
on
what he
the
probably
books
got?
for
He
that.
probably got back end.
Yeah.
He'll probably be getting a cut.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
He'd
the
be getting
bottom
a cut,
line
and
is-
it'll be a big cut.
I'll take 80% of
This will
the
still
box
make,
office.
surely still make over 400 or 500 mil.
Yeah, probably.
Really?
No,
You
no
reckon?
way.
I reckon it'll get 200,
reckon?
I reckon
250.
it'll
God.
get 200 to 250 at max.
Yeah.
Let's go up or down on that.
Yeah, okay, let's do
Unders
it.
and overs,
Let's
what's
do it.
the-
Unders and
where's the
overs.
line?
Okay.
I'll take over 4. I'm going the top of the sky.
Okay, hang on, no, this is what we got. What's its opening weekend and what's its final gross?
Opening weekend,
Well,
we'll do
what?
250. Final gross, 251.
250 on opening.
No.
Yeah, of course, it's not going to do that.
I'm going to go this way. Opening weekend, 25.
I'd say opening weekend about 35.
Final
Because there's a lot of,
worldwide box office, 200.
there's a lot of idiots.
I know, but
There's teenagers.
There's 4 righty.
There's a lot of
I'm laying my money down.
yeah,
It's going to be.
right.
Mate, we're all going to be there for the new Rambo. I'm telling you, we're going together.
I can't
happening.
wait for that. I
It's
cannot
fucking
wait.
happening.
Hang on, okay. So I've got 25, 200. You've got
200.
35.
35, 250.
You're saying 500.
You blokes are playing conservative. I've got to reach for the stars, mate. I'm going 400. I'm going 400.
Opening weekend.
Opening weekend, 40.
Opening weekend,
Covers budget.
50.
I'm going to
We're
price.
talking worldwide, aren't we? I'm not talking about America. I'm talking
Maybe
worldwide.
the price is
I'm
right.
going to price this right and go 149. If this makes 150 mil, I'll be surprised. It looks shit.
Look at
Yeah,
it.
look, this is what I call a calculated gamble. Like when we were playing that
Yeah.
fantasy movie mogul thing,
Yeah.
and you took an Eddie Murphy vehicle, and
Beat Dave.
I went for Space Chimps. I went for Space Chimps.
Space Chimps was a
You
good
laughed
name.
in my face, and Space Chimps. Space Chimps was a rocket, mate. It put me over the top.
Big Dave was an absolute terrible.
It was bad.
Yeah, what Big Dave wiped me out. I was out of the car park.
Fucking meat, Dave. Talk about someone that took
Who
it.
thought Eddie Murphy still had box office heat?
I was gambling. I was hoping that he was going to
Still
go.
laughing at Raw.
You know what? I reckon this is going to be like Baywatch.
Yeah.
Like Baywatch was supposed to again be another one that was a surefire, and it did decent money, but nothing special. But it was on a much smaller budget.
Have you seen that?
Here it's shit, but
It's terrible.
but this is what I mean about The Rock. He seems to be able to put those kind of dollars out there. It was about 150 mil worldwide. Still good money on a $30 million budget. This has got more budget. You know, they're going to sell it more, so it's going to have a little bit more.
Well, it won't have the same rating either because Baywatch, like, there was stuff in there that you shouldn't have, like, 15-year-olds watching.
Yeah.
So
so this is going to be PG,
the
right?
audience should be bigger. It should be bigger.
Yeah. But
Teenagers will lap this up.
just by looking at this trailer, once again, and I've said this a million times, a good action film knows how to lay on quick, sharp, adrenaline-pumping sequences, but for short periods. Not this kind of shit that they seem to be doing now, where action scenes go for 40 minutes, and you are just sick and tired of it after a while. And that whole trailer looks like that movie is just going to bumble along in one long action scene.
Put
It'll be
it
like
this way,
Transformers.
look, Rampage made 400 million worldwide.
Yeah, but
So I
Rampage-
think Skyscraper will be in line with that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No, but
Okay.
Rampage is a better movie.
But you don't know that.
don't know.
Rampage's trailer.
This
I mean,
looks
a
as
couple of
good.
us were looking at that going, holy yeah.
You might have this one.
I was
Jack.
going, this looks great.
I'll tell you why.
If Rampage made that much.
Rampage had again a rating for kids, so you get like more kids at it.
Yeah.
It seemed tongue in cheek. That's what you see.
The humour was there.
The
Yeah.
problem with Skyscraper is it looks too straight.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a good decision.
San Andreas, 474 worldwide.
Yeah, again, I still think 200, 250. That's,
Worldwide?
That's your money. Yep, worldwide.
I reckon Skyscraper will make. What did I go for?
You went
Conservative
400.
350.
You'll go up to 400.
Bottom line, they're going to make a shitload of money and they'll keep churning them out.
If
There'll be
we
more.
see a sequel to this, I'll be.
What do? They're fucking. It's a taller building. Like,
He's got both legs. I don't know.
He's been invited back to Vietnam.
God.
Yeah, I think it's either way. No matter how much money it makes, it looks like it does.
Yeah, it does.
It
But
looks
that bet's on the table. That's on record.
fucking ridiculous.
I think I'm
Okay.
high. I think I'm high odds to look like an idiot.
off the money, but
I just think if San Andreas made 474,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
because
enough.
San Andreas was
and the problem too is
San Andreas was shite, and the trailer looked equally ridiculous. So it is.
the thing is, The Rock has had a couple of big hits in a row. Maybe he's looking for a
Fatigue.
downturn.
You reckon there's a bit
Little
of fatigue there?
Talk yourself into it.
I'm looking for a downturn.
You're going to be thinking about this. You're not even going to go now. You're going to say, "Bugger this! I'm not contributing to this bet.
No,
I'm not going to pay my
contributing. I
money."
want to see what this is. I cannot wait to see what it is. All right, let's take a break and come back and cover Enter the Dragon.
Roper, Williams, and Lee, the Deadly Three, penetrate the secret chambers of an evil island empire.
What do you know about Han? He lives like a king on that island, totally self-sufficient.
A fortress without walls, protected by an invincible army that needs no ordinary weapons. This is Enter the Dragon, the first martial arts film produced by a major Hollywood studio. John Saxon is Roper. He was in it for the money. U.S. karate champion Jim Kelly as Williams. He was there because he had no choice. Black Belt Hall of Fame undisputed martial arts champion and international film star Bruce Lee. His job was to get them out alive.
I'm hoping you'll join us, represent us in the United States. You want me to join this?
Roper, Williams, and Lee. Just when they think they've broken the secret of the island, they find there is no escape from the inscrutable Han. Warner Brothers presents Enter the Dragon, where the world's greatest martial arts athletes meet the ultimate challenge with the most ancient and deadly of weapons, the human body. Enter the Dragon from Warner Brothers.
Enter the Dragon from 1973, directed by Robert Klaus, who also directed Game of Death. What are you laughing about?
He also directed Jim Carter, that one about the gymnastics bloke that
What?
does karate.
oh my god.
God,
Yep,
that's a deep dive.
it is.
It's produced by Paul M. Hellier. who somehow produced My Left Foot.
Not Dwayne Johnson's left foot though.
No, not Dwayne Johnson's left foot. And Fred Weintraub, who produced Black Belt Jones.
Yes.
It was uncredited production by Bruce Lee and Leonard Ho. It's written by Michael Allen, who wrote Flash Gordon.
Wow. There's a lot of talent in this, isn't there?
1973, mate. That was the game.
Flash Gordon.
Yep.
I'm happy.
Stars Bruce Lee as Lee, John Saxon as Roper, and Jim Kelly as Williams. Budget was a very tidy $850,000. Made $90 million.
That's pretty good going.
Not bad at all.
Dwayne Johnson numbers.
Not this time around. The movie was filmed without sound. All dialogue and effects were dubbed in post-production.
You can't tell.
I thought they were real punch sounds.
God. Okay. This is very silly stuff, but when the fights are happening, it's great fun, and it looks fantastic. The rest of it, though, is just... it's just terrible. Like, really. The acting, all the dubbing work, everything else. The story is just... it's basically plotless.
Basic. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, it's plotless. John Saxon is the worst martial artist in the history of the world.
No, who's the blonde bloke from the one with Lou Ferrigno?
Well, Red Brown.
Red Brown's got him.
They've got the same quality
Saxon v.
roundhouse
Brown
kicks.
would be the funniest fight.
The world's lowest roundhouse kickoff.
Basically, they're both
kicking me in the
sleeping
shins.
with
Yeah.
But Bruce Lee's not an actor. He's not an actor at all. He's got great screen presence. He's a bit like someone like Arnie. You know, he's really good to watch. He's charismatic, but he's not a great actor.
Iconic.
But his work in terms of fighting is it's unparalleled, mate. He's so fast and so fluid. It just looks brilliant. Every time he's in the blue, it's just worth watching for that alone. And this has a couple of iconic moments. You know, the Hall of Mirrors, all that sort of stuff is iconic.
Licking his blood.
Yeah, so for me it's a 3 out of 5. I kind of enjoyed it for what it was.
I loved this when I was a kid. This was the bomb. Maybe because there was a pair of boobs in it. I don't know. But
Or a side boob or a back boob. It's not
I guess rewatching it probably nowhere near what it was in my head. But even just for historically, first time that they've got an Asian as a lead sort of thing, and just the variety of characters. It's a poor man's attempt at a James Bond, but
kind of, yeah.
But it is entertaining. I was happy to watch it. Like we said, there's iconic moments in it. The villains are ridiculous. The wisdom is stupider, but I enjoyed watching it. So for me, it was a 3.
You mate.
Yeah, similar to Matty. Like, I thought this was super cool when I was younger. The Hall of Mirrors scene, like you referenced, like there's so much stuff in it that's sort of lasted right through the test of time with cinema. A lot of stuff that you can see it done for the first time here. I mean, there's no way you can see where Mortal Kombat got its idea from. It's basically just this, and you know, it's obviously got a legacy in that way. But as you referenced, the acting is just fucking horrendous. There is nothing resembling a plot, and while Bruce Lee is really impressive, the fight choreography is fucking non-existent. It's just people running at him in a line basically to get punched in the face. So while he's really impressive with what he can do, he's very fast, he's obviously super highly skilled and everything, there's not a good fight in there really. Like, it's pretty shit. So I went with a 2.5, and it's probably...
It's a high 2.5.
It's like verging on a 2. And I'm wearing a shirt with the bloke on it, so it was pretty poor. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, I probably I think I was at a 3. I disagree a little bit. I thought the fights were pretty phenomenal in a lot of places. You can see why it stands the test of time, despite some hefty flaws. And I mean that iconic imagery of the mirrors and his little mannerisms and all that sort of stuff. He definitely has a presence, and I think, you know, given a few more films, if he hadn't have died as young as he did, he probably would have ended up being really, really good in action movies.
Do you
But,
think he would have been in Skyfall?
yeah,
Later on in the career?
cameo, sure.
So when he got really old, he could like be in a movie where his daughter was a zombie, and he could like really use the acting chops.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I'd like to have seen what he would have done after this.
And I think, I mean, the plot is just, as you said, it's James Bond, but it's kind of like it's Austin Powers parody of James Bond. Like it hits all those marks. But villains are ridiculous, as you said. But
The premise
Once you
is
get-
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's an evil villain on an island as a tax dodge that is avoiding the government and
I still
is
don't
getting
really get
people
his-
to come to the island so that he can get them to sell opium for him in their home
I still don't
countries.
really
It's
get
so
I still don't
dumb.
really get his plans with the women in there.
That's to keep an eye on them. That's just all it is.
Yeah, but I also don't understand. Bruce Lee's not in law enforcement.
He's a fucking monk. How does law enforcement go? You know what we need to get in there? A monk.
A shallowed one.
Yeah, that was my first thing. I'm like, how did they get to this bloke? We're just going to go to this monastery and pluck the best monk out. It just doesn't
I
make
think
any
it's
sense.
because he had been given an invite to this super secret Biffo club.
But how did they know that if it's secret?
Their recruitment ran deep, mate. They scraped and scrounged and looked out around all areas to find the best of the best. They obviously stumbled across his monastery. Decided he was their man.
But that was the former monastery that the guy was.
Oh, that's right. It was the same one from where Han came from.
Han's former dojo.
You mentioned the bloke who explains the whole plan to him.
Yeah, it is Basil Exposition.
Woodsworth or something. What's his name?
But the way that he explains the plan, I can't even remember his name.
It's like Woodsworth or Wainwright or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Codswallop.
Let's get to the likes here.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee's fighting skill is top class.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think he actually does hit some of those people.
I reckon
Some of it you can't fake.
The poor bloke who's got the cut on his face is getting legitimately punched in the face constantly.
Yeah. And he had to have body armour on when he gets kicked in the chest because that'd like cave your ribs in, that shit.
But you got Jim Kelly and Bolo Yeung too, who are actually legitimate martial artists too. So most of the fights have somebody who can do something in there.
One on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Roper, Mr. Roper.
Talk about ropey. The body is just awful on the golf course.
So, can anyone explain to me how does Roper have a personal assistant when he's got $60 in the bank account and he's still just flat out gambling?
How does he book his travel?
He's like, how much is in the account? Oh, cool, book me that overseas flight, can you?
He gets on the boat and immediately starts engaging in some kind of betting.
Yeah,
and
the
he
praying
pays-
mantises. That was great.
He pays Bruce
Yeah.
Lee, but I'm thinking, you know, 60 quid, mate. That's not
He
coming
won a
out.
bet on the way on the boat.
Just pulls out his billfold and starts peeling off hungies.
Yeah, you can't afford to get to the next suburb, mate, let alone overseas travel.
Mate, you
at
were
your budget.
stowing away on that boat. You didn't get on it legit.
The best part is, so he's clearly the Johnny Cage character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you've got Bruce Lee's clearly Liu Kang.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many parallels with that shit.
Yeah, definitely inspired a generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fun. I liked him just full stop. Every single time he's like a comic character, just like, you want to bet on it?
Every time a woman came into his nearest vicinity, he'd be like, well.
At one point, when they're at the banquet, he's sitting there chatting to one bird, and then another one pulls up next to me and he goes, okay, and he like shifts on it, and the other one's clearly like, oh, fucking no worries, mate. We're having a nice chat.
I like that you mentioned the betting, but like when the grasshopper fights, he rolls over and he goes, "Hey, what do we got here? Ooh, I'll have a 50 on the big one." And then that's almost straight away followed up by the big Kiwi bloke kicking a basket of fruit out of the bloke's hands, unprovoked, then walking up to Bruce Lee and going, "Poof." Asking him if he feels uncomfortable.
So the good
Well,
thing
it's basically the adult version of grabbing someone's hand and going, "Stop hitting yourself."
the The best part is that whoever wrote this movie has clearly met a Kiwi before.
Yeah,
They're all like
he
that.
sounds like a Scotsman.
Talk about bad accents.
Not a New Zealander's ass.
No.
Okay, come on. The first fight. The actual first fight.
No, the back. We got to stop. He's like, I'm going to represent Asians. I'm going to represent black people and New Zealanders. We need a New Zealander in this.
All the minorities are going to be covered.
They've been oppressed for too long.
I tell you what, we'll make him a raging arsehole.
It should have really been Tamuera Morrison.
Yeah, because
Jake the Muss.
Yeah, but he would have jobbed Lee.
Oh yeah, no, he would have won the whole tournament. He's flattened every prick.
The first fight is excellent. He's actually quite good, but yet he seems to be fighting in their crackers. The bloke he's fighting is a tubby fat ass.
Yeah. I was going to say, he should have been saying to his agent, look, I'm really happy to get a minor role in this film, but I can't fight any crackers, so have a go at me rig.
He was fighting Sandy from Monkey Magic, and Tripitaka was in the background. I swear.
But in his fairness, he busts out a couple of backflips.
He does, but I mean, they look like he looks like he's about to bloody crack a couple of arms when he gets back on the.
Yeah, he goes to the back handsprings.
The first handspring is he looks in trouble.
Yeah.
I also like
Blew his shoulder on the way through.
I also like that when they finish the fight, Bruce Lee unnecessarily backflips over them.
There's a couple of dudes standing with their arms out. What's that all about?
No, well, they're like, come on, do something cool. He's like, all right, here it comes.
That's the equivalent of climbing to the top of the octagon at the end of the fight. I think.
That's right.
You jump over.
Jim Kelly's afro.
Glorious.
And it looks like half a basketball. It's huge.
Yeah.
And then they cut to his. Remember when he flashes back? Those awful flashbacks where
Oh
it
my
goes.
god.
Yeah, the soft wipe, and all it could have ended up being worse would be a star wipe.
They do about 19 flashbacks in that opening
And
quarter
Jim
of the
Kelly
movie.
cuts to his dojo, and the guy who's running his dojo's cracking a 3/4 afro and a massive set of mutton chops.
Looks like the same dojo at a Black Belt Jones.
That's right, setup.
I don't remember much about Black Belt Jones, but I just remember some bloke running away, I think from the dojo, and he gets shot in the backside. I'm sitting here going, I hope they didn't hit the bullseye.
Also, I'll tell you what I love about that. He gets into a blue with some coppers, throws one of them through a fence, and then randomly a dog comes out of nowhere and starts chewing on the bloke. It's like, what's going on here?
That's because the dog was behind the fence.
Yeah, it was behind the fence, but again, no need for it.
But he also leaves his passport behind.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because they say, where are you going?
Yeah.
They
You're
take it
not
off.
going anywhere, Jig. And it's like, whoa. Where are you going?
Yeah, where are we?
There's some very topical police issues even in the 70s, apparently. And things haven't got much better, obviously. Jesus.
My favourite part of the entire movie, when they cut to O'Hara. He's Hart's right-hand man, real hard nut. And it cuts to some video of him getting hit by sticks and
stuff.
punching bloody
Fire, flame.
flaming balls.
Yeah, like, oh, that's really dangerous, mate. That's clearly kerosene. It burns about as hot as one of my farts.
He's just
That might be
standing there like this going, oh, getting hit across the chest and stuff and across the arms.
The best part
It
of it,
wasn't. There was no gooch tears in that.
No, there was no
That whole scene with God's Wall, whatever you call it, that exposition scene is one of the funniest I've ever seen.
that's what you call him, Basil Exposition.
Yeah, because he rolls in and he does that, but he says, "This is Alan's henchman. The footage is before he had a scar. He picked that up somewhere along the way." Then he said, "This is his island. After the war, it was vacant or something, so he bought it." Then he comes out with, he won't let guns on the island. He had a bad experience once, and finishes up with, we had a female operative on the island, but we lost her. But if you bump into her, her name is May Lynn. If I'm getting that information, I'm not going, I'm there going, mate, I'm going to need a little more than vagaries and bloody hearsay till I commit to this mission. At the moment,
I'm going, what sort of bloody shamble bloody operation are you both running?
if this is the intelligence we've got, I'm not going in, mate. I need a little more.
I love that he's just, and my favourite part of that whole thing was gadgets. They'll be useless on the islands. I'm not going to need them anyway. It's just like it's just a complete rip of James Bond. You're going to have all these things, but no, I don't need them. Don't need them. He's so cocky.
You know what he needed was some really bright white rope for stealth missions.
I love the fact that he comes out the same spot both times.
Yeah, he's like, oh, they caught me last time. I'll go back there.
With a snake on it.
Yeah,
That was good.
They see the snake under the pot plant, and he just fucking grabs it.
It's a pretty obedient snake to just stay
I
there.
believe he actually did do that like 10 times. He only actually got bitten once, where he slaps it on the head and all that sort of stuff.
Well, one foot he just puts his foot on it. He's just like pinning a cobra under his foot, and it's like clearly pissed off. It's a real
Yeah.
They must have defanged the fucking thing or something.
They would have surely. Even Bruce Lee's smart enough to go, I can't
The
have
secret story behind why he died.
So when you're talking about O'Hara hitting the boards and shit, it leads up to when they have their fight. O'Hara walks up to him with a little plank of balsa wood and punches it, and it busts out one of Bruce's quality lines in this. Boards, don't hit back. And it's like, okay, but he has so many good lines in this. There's one when he's doing it at the start, and he goes, I do not hit. It hits all by itself. He's talking about his fist as if it's got a mind of its own. That one's quality. And then the other one was when he's talking to that young bloke, and he goes, don't think, feel. Just
I'm
classic
going to try that
stuff.
in my maths classroom.
I don't think about it, just feel.
Can you whack him on the head like you did? Never take your eyes off your points.
Throw a calculator at him.
And just quickly, we were talking about the
Take your eyes off the board.
when Bruce says he studies the art of fighting without fighting.
Yeah.
And then he tricks the Kiwi into getting into the boat.
Yeah.
Worst boat ever. It just sinks.
It looks like it is going to sink. The poor bastard.
No, it does sink. They draw it, and it just goes under the water. Like, he deserves it, but fuck me dead. It's a pretty shit boat.
I will say this: Hong Kong. At least they filmed there in Hong Kong, and it looks all right. You get a feel for the place, and you get the sights and sounds of Hong Kong when they first get there. I think that's at least it looks pretty good before they get on the island. But
Even the island looks the part.
yeah,
They get on there and they've got those little
all of that stuff
little
is really,
courtyards
really
with the
well
stone
done.
walls and stuff like that. That looks kind of cool.
Quite frankly, I love the banquet. A lot of meat.
Yeah.
You know the meat guy, meat on the stick, dude.
Yeah, it's like what we said when we did the Gladiator episode.
Same thing, just a little more. This was a little more sort of
The entertainment's
More
amazing.
refined.
Yeah. Some skinny sumos having a crack at each other, having a slap.
Out comes hard.
They
Everything
pause.
stops and they pause, and then it goes. Okay, back to what you're doing.
Don't anyway.
Some sumos and some tumblers. That's what I want while I'm feasting.
Yeah, and I also would like to sit next to John Saxon as he tries to latch onto It's good to see Bulla Young as a henchman, as per usual. He's a grinning, crazy man.
His grin.
Yeah.
He's always going slapping his chest and
His grin looks like the face that Reese Witherspoon pulls in when she's like having a joke in Cruel Intentions. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
that cheesy grin.
Yeah.
But he's snapping someone's neck at the time.
Or cradling them, like folding them in half.
Yeah, he just gives that guy like a pocket knife beat and crushes him. It's like, fucking hell, mate, that's pretty cold.
He's a big man, though.
He's a big boy.
In his heyday, he was an impressive
he
specimen.
was
Fair
impressive.
to say, Ripping Nick. Bolo was in Ripping Nick.
Bolo's in ripping Nick. And it makes me laugh though at the end of the film where Bruce Lee comes out and Bolo comes out to meet him in the centre of the ring, and then Lee sort of steps forward to take him on, and good old Johnny Saxon goes, "Nah, I've got this one, mate. You haven't got shit."
You sit there going, listen, Lee, this bloke's going to have the sorest shins when I finish with him.
I'm going to roundhouse the fuck out of his knees.
He said, "I wish he never came anywhere near me."
You enjoy it, though. He seems to finish him off with a 3-piece to the crackers. Gets a couple of big kicks.
Kills him.
And then Bolo Yong pulls like a comedy routine face after being kicked in the nuts. He does like the cross-eyed.
Nobody's ever been killed by getting kicked in the nuts.
Mate, you cop a triple crown and you're going down.
We also got the underutilised flying bloody kick to the crackers.
Flying
too, wasn't it?
uppercut.
Yeah.
Where he's on
I
the
can't remember O'Hara, Scarface, whatever his name was. He goes for the big fly kick, and Lee just drops down.
Jumps on
and
it and he
gives
kicks
him a
up.
little sack tap right as he goes going past.
Lick is all it takes.
Let me tell you something.
Eddie
mate.
Murphy said, mate, all you do is graze nuts.
It's an all-time testicle trauma classic.
There's 4 nut shots. Like,
Like O'Hara is just glutton for punishment. He continues to get up after getting his head just punched in, kicked in the balls. Then he gets the kick in the chest where he knocks. He jumps. He still stumbles around for a couple of bottles.
His reputation is in tatters seconds into that.
And I love how that's a bridge too far for Hunt. He's disgusted that this bloke's he's disgraced him by doing something dirty. Meanwhile, you're selling women and fucking like. Where's the line really?
Yeah, where's your honour, man?
You then go for a bear claw or a knife hand. That's also legal, isn't it?
O'Hara's disgraced us. The setting of like the Island Fortress tournament thing, as Jared said, like they've got to explain away some obvious things that you could just do, but it works really well. And the set, like, it looks good, but the fact that you're like everyone's there's no way off the island, you're on his boat, sort of thing, like Shang Tsung's boat, obviously.
Yeah,
that was deliberate, by the way. I didn't actually think his name was Shang Tsung. It's just his equivalent character, but that whole thing just works. So you're sort of there.
Yeah, because doesn't William say he wants to go?
Yeah, he said he wants. Yeah, get me out of here. Well, then they bash the shit out of him and hang him from that thing over the pit.
And I like that because that sort of showcased, the stakes are raised, and Han or whatever is not to be trifled with.
Yeah, no trifling.
And he certainly lays a slipper into him. Han really... I mean, did he have a steel hand? Is that what
he did,
He seemed to have a steel hand at that point, but wasn't this after he'd been actually manipulating the hand to pick up grapes and things?
Don't even talk to me about the continuity with his metal hand. At one point... He takes his thing off, you see his hand, he puts the glove back on, and then you see it in the next thing and he's moving his fingers. That's like,
but he was picking the grapes up and going... Someone give him my grape hand.
Yeah, give me something. Give me a coconut instead.
No, they're just handing him like walnuts.
Fucking coconuts, bowling balls. There's obviously a lot of iconic imagery in this. Bruce Lee with the cuts on his chest. All the stuff in the Hall of Mirrors.
Even the fight before down in the underground where he's using the sticks and the nunchucks. That's all.
Yeah, and he gets the thing snapped and he picks up the twin sticks and then
and it showcases all of his skills.
Which is clearly quite good at things. It's very iconic.
Hey?
He's not thinking, he's feeling, yeah. And he always keeps his eyes on his opponents, so it's all good. He has, you guys mentioned before, he's got so much like screen presence. He's just got so much swagger, like the way he carries himself. Even in fights, he's just sort of bouncing around. And you're like, fuck, this bloke just knows he's better than everyone.
It's too much sometimes, though. He's like leaning against a post before he's about to fight. Arguably, like you're meant to be one of the best fighters in the world or whatever that's been summoned to this thing.
It's not far from the whole Seagal. He just doesn't get touched until, but at least he gets scratched by the villain, or someone jumps on his back occasionally, which is funny because he never takes his eyes off his opponent. But and numerous people jump on his back.
Multiple opponents, mate. He's only human.
He's positively bored when he's chucking the snake into the.
One of my favourites too, which is sort of semi-iconic. I've seen it a little bit. Is when he realises he's stuck, so he just sits down and hangs the nunchuck around his neck. That was that.
He cops a couple of punches in the face in that final blew up on the top, out in the courtyard.
The big melee.
A couple of punches in the face. That is gold. That blokes are selling it like it's a WWE. There's dudes getting kicked in the face and doing cartwheels.
I just love that all the prisoners are all in black and all the baddies are in white. It's like, we can see who the goodies are. Like, it's so obvious.
The prisoners do a fair job for blokes that have been locked up and malnourished and supposedly drunks that have given up on life.
They're definitely more useful than the POWs in Rambo 2. Those blokes are just dead weight. These blokes at least pull their bloody fingers out.
They're the quietest crowd. If somebody had come down and was kicking these guards' ass, I would be like, or shaking the bars or whatever. They're silently holding this guard and then watching.
It's like, come on, fellas, get involved. I also love the fact that Han goes for the hairy bear claw.
Before he goes for the Wolverine.
But he uses the hairy bear claw once and then it ends up getting stuck in some wood.
They didn't teach that one in the dojo.
And then his arm, they don't do much to disguise that his arm's just, his actual hand's just covered because his arm, after losing the claw, is about 3 feet long.
Honestly, though, he is not wielding that claw with any skill. Knives. He's just kind of.
Considering he's supposed to be a Shaolin master, same as Bruce Lee's character.
He seems to be all over the map.
Lost the poise,
Not very.
A couple of times they shoot some of the fights from perspective, so you see a foot go.
I actually like the first person view though. It looks pretty cool for some bits.
There was a couple of John Saxon fights where they shot basically him from the waist up, so you couldn't see, even though he was kicking, so you couldn't see where his kicks were landing.
The only reason he's kicking is going ha,
and you're hearing it.
But some of the Jim Kelly ones, there's bits where he's sort of doing the prance around. He's giving him he's just being a sneaky bastard.
Yeah.
That sort of works the first person view for that.
What about his line when he's talking about how you got to be concerned about losing or something? He's like, I'm not worried about it.
I'm just looking too good.
Yeah.
Every time he came on, the music went to. It's pretty funny.
It became disco.
Yeah.
I love what I love about that is my question back to him is what?
What are you talking about? I actually heard a Q&A with Jim Kelly.
Oh.
Wow.
He was an interesting chap. He looked. I tell you what, he was in his. I think he was about 70 at the time, and he still looked like he'd kick your ass. He was still in pretty good shape. 18 months later, the bloke was dead because he died of cancer. So it obviously hit him pretty quickly. But yeah, he was. Basically, every question was about Enter the Dragon because no one wanted to hear about
anything else.
Black Belt Jones or the Tattoo Connection or anything like that. But yeah, he was pretty good. He had some stories about Bruce Lee and talking about how quick he was. And
Speaking of Han, there's a sequence closer to the end where he's stroking a cat. Gotta love it. You gotta love the criminal mastermind stroking a cat.
It just comes out of nowhere too. There's
Puts on the guillotine.
Clearly, there's a point you will not cross.
That was funny with the whole I'm gonna pull the chain and
what
take
was
it
the
down
whole
the
thing?
elevator.
the point Saxon won't cross is above the knee.
What was that shit about Saxon though? Going into that room with these are my daughters. Saxon's like, ooh,
Yeah. That's a line crossed.
starts carrying on like an absolute bloody scumbag.
Yeah. Awkward.
And also when Jim Kelly's getting the shit kicked out of him, he keeps landing on these women who are just sitting there like
Opium. The opium.
They're high out of their mind. They're all chasing the dragon. That's what they're actually talking about. It wasn't Enter the Dragon. They're talking about chasing the dragon.
Oh wow!
I don't know why you'd have an opium den coming off your office. Though. What's with Han's just got this opium den.
Yeah, I'd like to keep that separate.
Next
So
to
business and pleasure. We've got to have a wall between them. Then we'll send
I
someone.
don't go down a set of stairs into a locked door area. I'm not having it right next door.
Bruce Lee's most kind of pointless yet cool-looking move is when in the fight with Han, he sets him up for what looks like the old Jake the Snake Roberts DDT, but he flicks his leg up and kicks him in the head.
Oh yeah, the unnecessary back kick to the forehead.
And then, continues on. I'm thinking you're probably not getting a lot of power out of doing it that way, but it's pretty cool.
You're getting in with the floppy bit at the bottom of your foot. It's like there's not going to be much force in it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
he unnecessarily jumps into the tree as well.
Oh, I love that. Just standing vertical, straight up.
Surely he's just jumped down and they've done it in reverse.
Yeah, 100%.
That was pretty funny though. I enjoyed that.
They could have found better ways to showcase that unearthly athleticism than just backflipping over people that aren't involved in the fight, jumping up into a tree.
Unnecessarily going down a rope with no legs.
I know, every time he's like, I'm going to keep my legs out perfectly straight just for the ab workout, and I'm going to lower myself down slowly.
That thing's got notches, you're fine. Put your legs down.
Smartass.
No one likes to show off Bruce.
Now, what about the dislikes?
Well,
I still got some likes.
some of them were crossing. They were funny.
I got the clumsy guard with the nunchucks that hits the statue with it, and then as Bruce Lee's just hiding, he creeps across hides. Creeps across
He's talking about a plot plan at one point, and old mate's dead set looking at him. I'm like, how can you not see that?
I enjoyed that.
He's got black tracksuit on, mate. You can't see it.
I really enjoyed Han's hair when he was fighting as well. He would always flip forward, and then he'd just say, "Oh, he's actually bald." Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
He's getting his Donald Trump on just to comb over. I didn't have any more likes.
I'm sure there's others.
Neither did I. But the dislikes are just as
I think
fun.
They'll cross over.
Yeah. I mean, the dubbing for me, the dubbing is distracting.
Awful.
Well, especially when they're
So bad.
speaking
Too loud
English.
in points.
And when-
His master,
It's not actually in sync.
No.
Most of it.
his master at the start sounds like the bloody Country Bears or something at a Disney ride, like the voiceover.
Yeah.
It just sounds ridiculous.
It's really distracting because it's not in sync, most of it.
Well, it's fine when there's clearly stuff where they've dubbed over it because the original was in Cantonese or Mandarin or whatever, whichever one they did it in. But when it's the white guy, Wainsworth or whatever his fucking name was, when it's him and it's clearly not his voice and it's not at the same time, like, he's just speaking English.
And Roper too. There's a couple of times when Saxon's like out of sync
It's
as well,
really-
even
it's
though it's
pretty
Saxon
poorly done.
overdubbing his own voice.
Saxon's out of sync on the fight game.
But they needed all help they could get because the acting was already that poor, and then when you throw the dubbing in, it's just a very tough
It's
watch.
a shambles.
The plot, I mean, it's straightforward to get him into fight situations, but even JCVD would be asking some questions about what's going on here. He'd be saying, I want some answers before cameras roll.
Well, my thing about it was when there's no fighting, things are pretty slow, pretty boring. You know, like it doesn't pick up any momentum. There's no real. We have all these things about women down below being given opium and stuff, but none of it's really tied up at the end.
No.
It's just kind of just.
It doesn't feel connected, really.
It's just dangly.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like there was a heap of different sequences done for fights purposes, and then.
With the opium, he's like, I'm going to kill you if you go and have a look at my opium den, but then he brings them all down to look at his opium den.
Saxon just gets let back in the bloody tournament when obviously he's not on
gets
board.
bloody 5-star treatment down there.
Yeah, when fucking old mate Jim Kelly's character, all he did was say no as well, and he got bashed to death and dropped in a fucking pond. I don't know,
In front of Saxon, though, that was to sort of, shake up Saxon.
Yeah, but nothing happened to Saxon. He just got to leave. Like Jared said, he just, no, I'm not interested, mate.
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense.
Actually, that was one of my dislikes, that they had to make the choice between Saxon, who was hired for the acting and not the fighting, and Jim Kelly, who was there for the fighting and not the acting. I would have rather Jim Kelly stay around because, I mean, shit, Bruce Lee wasn't acting anyone off the screen either.
Yeah.
And Saxon was not lifting things to it.
Also, Saxon is a
High
shit
level.
actor.
Yeah, Saxon's great.
No.
So I reckon Saxon should have been the one over the top.
Yeah.
Jim Kelly and Bruce Lee should have been, because then you could have got some mileage out of Kelly in the fight scenes.
Yeah, Saxon should have got his head kicked in.
I like that was the 70s.
No,
and
they
Saxon
did that
was
on
white.
purpose.
Exactly, the white man.
They would have
gets to
taken the
stay
white
on.
guy around.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
Thumbs up at the end. How cheesy was that?
So bad.
Yeah.
Saxon's thinking in his head, the ladies are still, they're still there. Thumbs up. Excellent. I'm going down to see him.
But that's after he looks over and sees the
He'd be
chick
like,
that he
the
likes.
bad guy's
is
dead. I'm staying here forever.
What's that all about, though? That's a one-line thing where she goes, pick one. I've made my pick.
Smart choice. Meanwhile, she's got her fucking eyebrows drawn on, like she's not exactly a fucking oil painting.
And then, right at the end, he looks over, she's dead. And
he goes,
he kind of just puts his head down and shakes it.
I was expecting when you guys have made my choice, I was expecting a follow up. All of them or something like that.
Yeah, well, that would have cut
That
with his
seems
character.
like what he's going for.
Yeah, I'll bet you for them. I'll have 100 on that one.
So you're talking before about this fridging situation?
Yeah.
His sister, that reeks of that. He's already got motivation to go and do what he needs to do, and for some reason they have to throw in this side plot of his sister.
By the way, he killed your sister. Flashback to her kicking the taillights out of 20 blokes.
I've been saying, listen, mate, how do you know this if you didn't know anything else that went on at the island? How did you get this piece of information?
Yeah, how do you know my sister was chased through the slums?
I need actual proof of you because quite frankly you've been lying out of your
Did you
ass.
get this information from Coswell? Because that bloke doesn't know anything.
But it's just totally unnecessary. You don't need that part of the story.
No, you don't.
Back on Coswell. When he calls up and he's like, he figures out that the fax
That was
has
half
come
an hour
through.
ago.
Put me through. I don't care that he's got a woman there. I don't care that he has a company.
Yeah, but it goes that one step further. So he goes, I don't care that he's got company. And then he waits around for a second and he goes, I don't care who it is. Bang it up. It's like, what's the second one for? We don't know who it is.
Confidence. We're only a small agency. We'll get someone else to come and help.
Why didn't he just go, that was half an hour ago, and he gets on the blower and that's it, cut.
He doesn't seem to be occupied either. He seems to be getting served tea in bed. So it'd take half an hour to get to message.
Because he was asleep.
17. Someone's coming and pouring his tea.
Yeah, but he's asleep. She comes in to serve him tea and he wakes up, or whatever it is, and then he goes, "This like someone's dropped a message there for when he wakes up," but it was clearly supposed to be a priority.
Go on, Codswallop.
There's a lot of scenes in this which are just extended, like long stock footage shots of just nothing. Like, for no
There are
reason.
some lengthy ones.
It reminded me of the stuff in Conan the Barbarian with just the walking of the feet through the market. It's just like stuff's happening.
When they're coming in on the boats, and you're just getting shot after shot of
those poor buggers
rowing the boat back and forth. Yeah.
their arms
That's just so.
hanging out.
That's just so they can
That
say
thing is
ghetto
moving at a
is a
snail's
ghetto.
pace. It's not moving with any pepper, I can tell you now. And the poor bastards at the back going,
You wouldn't want to be in a hurry. One of them's like fucking 80 years old. Poor prick's like, fuck, I just need to retire.
yeah, where's my super? They only got my super scheme here.
Benefits are shit. The tournament schedule, I mentioned that sort of earlier. Like, it's supposed to be a tournament, so you'd think there'd be a draw, all this sort of stuff.
Oh, something up on the board?
They just seem to turn up, and I'll make it like you and you. It's like,
Yeah.
how does this work?
What do you reckon? We have a fight today? Yeah, okay, sounds good. That bloke and that bloke.
This bloke's giving me the shits. Fucking, he looks funny. Fight him.
The thing is,
Saxon, where's my draw, mate? I need to prepare. I need to
Do
stretch.
some scouting.
Saxon continues to come out 10 minutes late doing up his gear, because he's been downstairs to the ladies all
Yeah.
morning.
I need to watch some film. Sorry, we've only got O'Hara being hit with sticks and lit on fire. Will that help at all?
Meanwhile, the sticks
Yeah,
with clearly fucking styrofoam. One shatters and it just sort of floats away. It doesn't have any weight to it whatsoever.
I like the look on his face too. It's always, he sucks in a deep breath while he gets hit.
So Jack Cockhead.
God.
Just quietly though, back to right at the start when he goes to give the teachings to the young bloke. He is just talking shit, isn't he?
Yeah.
He has just
Nonsense.
cracked open the fortune
That's a waste
cookies
of time.
and just started dribbling. And I'm just sitting there thinking, what the hell is this? Why is this even here?
Meanwhile, that kid's got to pretend that he's wise, and he's like, "Do you understand?" He's like, "Yes, I understand." He's like, "No, you fucking don't."
He's just
No one
he's like,
understands
yeah, I'm nodding so you won't slap me in the back of the head again.
Please don't hurt your
Hasn't
mum.
Codswallop turned up at this
Yeah, I
point?
think he's the...
Yeah.
Why do
It's
we
big
even
conversation.
need that scene? It makes
Don't
no...
know.
It has no bearing on anything. You meet with
It
Codswallop.
shows you that he's enlightened, because that's after the monk tells him that your skills have reached an enlightened stage or some shit.
Forget about that shit. Move that on.
Gives him the wisdom that he takes into the like literally into the mirror room where he smashes every mirror.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Now, while Bruce Lee's skills are clearly impressive, I maintain that the fight choreography in this is terrible. There's just rings of blokes around him who run at him one at a time so that he can punch them each once or throw them or kick them. It's just there's not actually any interchange of actual like fighting.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a bit of that, and it's hard to criticise because there's rarely films that don't do that up until you get to things like The Raid. But he does it a bit quicker than people were doing it at that time.
Oh,
at
he's
least, you know,
he's amazing,
He's,
but
with
it's
the,
just-
you know,
So it seems a
he's
little
throwing
bit
a kick,
faster
and then with the
than people
same
coming
leg,
at
he's
him.
hitting someone that's
Yeah.
coming. Like it's a bit faster than you would get at.
It's not like John
time.
Claude just sort of standing there and having time to sort of swivel into a fly kick or something.
Yeah.
It was a bit quicker than that.
The old days it would have been punch, block, then I'm going to punch you, and then you're going to go flying.
Yeah.
So it is done a little bit quicker, but it is from the school of take a number and
Yeah,
come
like,
at me.
if they wanted to, they could all just run at him and jump on him, and he's screwed.
Yeah.
That
think,
final fight with Han as well. If I'm going to fight Bruce Lee, I'm not taking him into the weapons room.
No.
Fight him.
But he doesn't need gadgets and weapons.
Allegedly.
Just to
Han's got
ride-
better intelligence than Codswallop.
And then if I feel like I'm like losing the fight in a small space, I'm not picking up the spear as my weapon to.
No.
Yeah, the world's longest, least like maneuverable weapon.
I'm Keep it at close quarters, mate.
I just love that he throws it like it's a fucking javelin.
The other thing is when he gets the last kick that sends him flying back into the spear. When you see him get kicked, he's clearly flying, so he's going to land on his back. And then the next shot is him just kind of staggering backwards, straight up, so he can hit the spear.
Straight to the spear.
Yeah, not the best piece of editing there.
No.
That whole mirror room annoyed me. I'm like, why has he got a room that's just mirrors and a couple of costumes on some stands?
Yeah.
And then wouldn't you just look at the ground? Like
It doesn't pass. It doesn't pass the think test, but it looks pretty.
Well, especially because there'll be a bit where he's hiding. If you're surrounded by mirrors, you can see the bloke regardless of where he is.
Yeah, I'm still thinking. I've just walked past this mirror, and then I can see you walking past it. So we must be. You must be right in front of me.
It would be the worst place to try and creep around.
Mirrors have these things called reflections. It'd cause some problems for sneaking for sure.
Definitely.
Turn the lights off.
Oh, I had a stray one here that probably should have ended up in my likes, but around about the 46-minute mark where Jim Kelly's fighting the Kiwi and Johnny Saxon's putting bets on, the guy that he's talking to, placing the bets, in the long shot, I could have sworn he was wearing a Groucho Marx thing. He had the glasses and the mustache.
Yeah.
And then when they go to the close-up, it's his actual mustache. He's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
I was fooled. I thought he was wearing a Groucho thing, but yeah, that definitely should have ended up in my likes.
I love how Jim Kelly plays that though, because he's just like, I'm going to try for triple.
Yeah,
tries to get 3-1 instead.
Yeah, mate. I love the fact that Johnny Saxon too comes out for his first blue and gets basically smacked in the face, repeatedly knocked on his ass, then just leaps up and kicks balls. I think kicks balls. No, he grabs balls. I think he does some sort of ball related.
He punches balls. Yeah,
that's it. And there you go. Game over. Yeah, fight's over.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, he does kill Bolo. By kicking him in the cods as well. So so he's got a fairly lethal aim.
That's his
He
style.
knows the sweet spot.
clearly a man of honour.
Why isn't he getting arsehole for punching balls, but the other bloke's getting, he's brought us into disrepute by smashing a couple of
That's all
bottles.
when people get murdered. I don't think the fucking bottle thing should be that big of a deal.
You haven't. You obviously haven't heard of the exploding sack technique that Saxon's mastered.
That's what Cosmo was while I'm saying to Bruce Lee. By the way, John, Roper's got this exploding sack manoeuvre, so be careful around him. If he's walking around the locker rooms tapping dicks,
Get out of there.
You mentioned Groucho. Did anybody else think that the debt collector on the golf course looked like Ben Stiller?
Yeah, in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, a war massive. Shut that
But also, what was that about? Because they turn up and they go, "You've got till Tuesday or something to pay us 150k,"
75.
and then it just sort of explodes into violence.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were just saying, "Listen, we're giving you the heads up. You've got to pay."
Well, no, I almost said we're going to have to break
It was
something.
going to be there's a little bit
No,
of
but
a
he
message.
says, if you all will have to break something.
Yeah,
So what,
yeah,
they're obviously
that's
delivering a message.
Why do they follow him to the bushes of the ninth hole? Why don't on the golf courses?
Well, they had to bide their time, They didn't want to get out on, the open sort of water holes and things
You don't
like
want to
that.
fight someone on the green, you'll damage it. That's just disrespectful.
Right.
You'd be one of those people that drives the cart on the green too, I think, if you're going to fight on it. Bloody hell, buddy.
Can't drive a ball, that's for sure.
Neither can Saxon.
Oh, yeah, not a golfer's arsehole.
Double nothing.
Not a golfer's arsehole, not a karate master's arsehole, but somehow he gets an invite to the biggest karate tournament in the world.
I think he's supposed to be pretty handy, but he just isn't.
He looks like he might be more of a boxer. At one point, he gets
No,
a
he
little bit
says
of the jab
karate.
with Bolo.
He says karate.
Yeah,
He's not
lied.
He lied on his resume. He got his fucking karate certificate in a week
He's
next
Frank Dukes. Yeah, he's based totally off Frank Dukes, I think.
That's what I had. That was it for me.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, actually, just you mentioned that the racist stuff with Jim Kelly. The bad part about that was you could imagine that scene playing today just without the out-and-out racial slurs that they go with.
Yeah.
Other than that, you kind of like...
Yeah, just like the police are just harassing him just because he's there.
It's kind of just like, you can
All he had
still
was a
kind of
hoodie.
get that. I mean, I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine like 2 weeks ago and they had the episode about how Terry gets harassed like that.
Yeah.
And I watched that and I'm like, Because that's
the same thing.
It looks a bit like that, just without the slurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit troubling to think about that, but yeah, just to end it on a high after we've been absolutely laughing our asses off at this big.
I still find it pretty funny though that the whole like a big part of Bruce Lee's goal was to sort of even up the status of the different. But it's still based around these cliches of race.
Well, Johnny Saxon survives. Basically, it's the hero status just because he's the white bloke.
Yeah.
And honestly,
the Kiwi should have survived.
Honestly, I think
Kicked the bucket of grapes out of Han's bloody hand with
his bear claw right off.
I see him. Yes, I think he would have been successful in the US with more films, but he wouldn't. He needed to do a lot of work to fix that up. Because this movie, although iconic in parts, possibly be partially due to his death. The fact that this was his last film.
If this is the same director as Flash Gordon, you can sort of forgive a bit of Bruce Lee's direction.
No, it's not all Bruce's fault, no doubt.
Someone else might have to take a bit of the blame.
Alright, that was Enter the Dragon. If you want to contact us, send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. Like us on Facebook, Thrill Me Podcast Australia, and at Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for the next film we cover. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.